Hello, hello. Thank Godot, it's Friday. Welcome to episode 36 of Party Wipe, where we would make a roguelike deck builder in Godot. How's it going, everybody? Hey, LSG. Hey, Nix. The 20 stream streak. Only 9,980 left. You the self-imposed 10,000 stream streak. Yeah, I see it. I see it. How's it going, everybody? All right. Let's get to work. It's almost the weekend, but not quite. Hey, Nanigans. Hope everyone's ready for the weekend here. Godot. There we go. Godot or Godot. There is no try. All right, yesterday we set up our little move and act buttons. They're not hooked up to anything right now. So I realized that's actually... We actually need to restructure our scene a little bit before I can do that, but that's fine. I just wanted to finalize the structure of the UI a little bit. I think it'll be nice. So we need to gear up to actually work on actions, taking actions. You have a Smash Mouth song stuck in your head, Nix? Ugh. Why? I'm kidding. The mind has its own system for all that stuff. We are not ourselves in control. Catchy song. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know when you would hear a Smash Mouth song nowadays, unless you were watching a Shrek film. All right. Well, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? What do I want to do? What do we want to work on today? Working on actions would be very unsexy in terms of it would be a lot of spreadsheet working for now. Because what we need to do is we need to do a couple of things. We need to let me try to draw a weapon. Here we go. We need to define weapons such that it's clear whether they have actions or not. We also need a tagging system to describe what the characteristics of the weapon is, or armor or whatever the characteristic of the equipment is. We have this space here in the upper right where we could say that it has an action or not. Where we could. I'm tempted to do that because I feel like it would be special compared to all of the other tags. And I think we'd probably do a numbering system. I think we said where it would be like act and it would be like -1 or something like that, or -2. And that would be like the cost of doing the action or something like that. We could also just say 1 or 2 and that could be like how many actions you need to do it. I don't know what would be more clear. You remembered it and you listened to it. Oh, that is the mistake. That is the mistake. really want to do just absolutely important nonsense today. But I'm gonna resist. I'm gonna resist the temptation. Why do I say care sheet? Why don't I just say character? Why did I make it care sheet? That's weird. But I'm not gonna change it right now. Yeah, so I think restructuring our action, the way we describe equipment, would be good. That would be a good thing to do. Another good thing to do would be to restructure the progression of our scenes so that we're no longer in this sandbox and we're actually in, like, the system of how we would do things. So one thing we could do, another Godot thing to do, there's so many Godot things to do. You know what I might do is maybe I'm just so tired. I like don't want to do real work. But we need to do something. Maybe we mock up the turn order UI because we are kind of in a UI kick here. And the turn order thing would be pretty crucial for actually getting through actions. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do today. I don't really want to do the super dry, like, spreadsheet nonsense of defining tags and all that everything. But we might mess with the equipment page UI. I'm glad we did the deck and the draw and the discard little highlights. I like them. They're nice. Maybe we mock up how we want characters to appear in the turn order. That could be an okay thing to do. Because yeah, I want to rebuild the scene the way it's actually going to be experienced by the player, which means normally it'll be like, you know, the main menu will come up. You can be like, oh, I want to continue, or I want to play a new game or something. New run. Probably be like, continue, new run. Options, you know, all the good stuff. Maybe settings. Oh, we can also, one other thing we could do is we can set up that end turn confirmation window that I also want to make. We did say we were going to do that. Maybe we'll do that first, because I have a very strong idea of how that's going to look. I'm going to try to do a lot of work on actions over the weekend. Intern. So we need like a window where we can confirm what we do or do not want to do. And I think it'll be something like this. Let's just mock it up roughly. How big do I think the window would be? Are you sure you want to end the turn? I think it'll be like, are you sure you want to end the turn? Yes, no, don't ask again. And we'll do like a little checkbox for don't ask again. So that if someone's like speed running, like if you're speed running the game, which I don't even know if that's a thing I'll really support consciously, but I could see people, or if you're just an impatient person, I could see people wanting to turn that off. But I think I want by default for it to be the thing. How big is here? Let's see how much room we have on the screen to do that anyway. We have about this much room. So that's like 10. So maybe it should be less than 160, but we'll start with that just for 160 by 96 or something like that. 160 by 100 or something. Hey, Rob. How's it going? It's good. I'm ready for the weekend. I don't know about you. Very tired. Had a very busy week. I think next week will be a little bit better. I did see the Odyssey last night. Woo! Man. It was really good. You know it's a really good film when you leave the theater and you're like kind of melancholic. Like I was like there was just so much had occurred and I was like thinking about it all and reflecting and like while I was waiting for the bus to go home and late at night. It was good. It's a really good, man, that's a good one. Hooey. I mean, I'm predisposed to like it. You're talking to Digital Iliad here, right? I'm predisposed to liking the Odyssey. Man, it's a good adaptation. I'm not gonna spoil anything. LSG, you said hi, then dipped. Yeah, no worries. You're gonna install Fallout. Nice. What does TTW mean? You have to uninstall and reinstall Steam? What? Why? That's crazy. Does the mod thing assume a certain directory? That's crazy. Tale of Two Wastelands. Okay, is that the like Fallout 3 in the New Vegas engine? Okay. Is that an official thing or is that like a mod? I don't understand. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to make like an I guess let's fill the text area first. And then we'll worry about... It's fan made? Okay. Rob, the new one? I assume you're talking about Fallout, not the Odyssey. You put your install location in program files, which is a no-no for mods. Interesting. Nanigans, you're working on getting some decent texture set up for more of your tiles. Nice. You've refactored how you're doing tile atlas for your tiles again slightly. So that on the fringes of burned, etc. effects can have a different texture than the main effects. Ooh, cool. Hey, Drip Advisor. How's it going? Happy Friday. Thank you, it's Friday. Rob, the thing, I was watching the little GIF that you sent, that you posted, that you showed to the Discord, which I think I'm just going to play because it's so cool. Hopefully you don't mind. I'm going to say sharing things to the showcase chat is like a tacit acknowledgement that I might share them on stream. This is so sick. Is this the newest one? I think it is. This is so sick. There's something here that happens that I think it's like towards the end. That is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. We're going to wait a minute while it comes up. The worst part about this video is the Unity frame that you've put around the video for some reason. I don't know why you would include such a thing. All right, it's about to happen, I think. Yes, this. We're going to go back. So it's really cool how all the pieces of your ship fall apart as you're like taking damage. I'm not jumping far enough back. You can see it on the enemy ship. Yeah, you get a bunch of hits here. Planks are like falling off and everything. Then you heal the ship, and all the planks go right back where they were. That is crazy. That is the craziest, coolest thing I've ever seen. Setting that up. I'm sure it's simpler than I am thinking. But man, it's so good. Also, the weight of things under the water, the way you can see the extension of things into the water, very good. This is looking so good. Again, the only real disappointment is that it's in Unity. That looks so cool. But yeah, the healing of the planks was like a mind-blowing moment. Hopefully Rob's still here. Maybe not. Maybe they just did a flyby. But that was incredible. Yeah, I don't think they're here anymore. Super cool. And again, so for grass, an example, around the edges of the burn grass would be dead grass. Oh, yeah, that's neat. That's neat. So let's say, are you sure? Oh, this is huge. This is probably too big. Are you sure? Let's add a background layer. Well, maybe not yet. But yeah, if anyone's even on the fence about going to see the Odyssey, go see the fucking Odyssey. It's so good. Are you sure you want to? I think this might be a little bit overdone. I think I could just say end turn. Oop. Oh, oh. Oh no, I did the thing where I went like, okay, there we go. This might be overkill to have this whole thing, this whole sequence. Are you sure you want to end the turn? Oh, this is also odd numbered. That's unfortunate. I think I'm going to make this just one thing. End turn, yes or no. That's better. Why is this so huge? Is this like not the size of text that we do here? Yes. No, this is the size. Okay, whatever. I think doing the text first is maybe a little backwards, but it's fine. Yes. Oh god, I keep doing this. I don't know why I keep accidentally going into advanced mode. Now you have to charge up your old phone because you apparently don't have the Steam Guard app on the new one. Ooh, that's not great. I should check on that. The Steam app on my phone is like absolutely totally busted. I can use it for that. I can use it for like the login thing. But it is so absolutely just the worst. I don't use it. Okay, so I want yes, no, and then like 16. We'll say don't ask again. Don't ask me again. I'll say don't ask again. Take out the no. We'll say don't ask again, and we'll have like a checkbox. Let's see if we can fit a... So we'll make this the text layer. I'll add a base layer underneath it here. I guess I actually don't want to necessarily do this all statically. I should do these as separate buttons. Right, we're going to mock it up first. We're mocking up a little end turn confirmation screen. What I want to do is I want to find a icon checkbox, an icon box. We're just going to use an icon box. Yeah, one of these. Say icon. Oh, that's way too big. I guess we'll just do this style and make it smaller. What would the smaller version of this be? So this is 20 by 20. So can I just do like a 10 by 10 version? Probably do it yellow. Kind of cool. Just like this maybe. That's about the right size, I think. Yeah, that just happens to be right aligned with the size of the D and don't. I don't know how big, how or where I should position it relative, but that's kind of what we're going to do. So we need a base layer. That covers this whole thing. So we can take the corner of this and just work from here. Actually, we can just take the whole thing and work from here. The only irreversible action in this game is ending a turn. So it seems like the only case that we need to confirm. Did not intend to rhyme that. Oh, I can't do that. We have to crack it open here and reposition it. Is this about the right size? I mean, this seems close. I think it'll be obvious when I finish it, connecting them all. Whoa. Wrong layer, Dave. There we go. Hey, Professor Chaos. You just came from X. Your opinion of the human race is really, really low at the moment. Say something smart. The only thing we know is that we know nothing. Is that sufficient? Yeah. I wouldn't recommend, just for your health, I wouldn't recommend anyone spend any time on X for any reason. It's not good for you. You might as well just be smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. How big of a gap do I want here? Probably more than that. Why is the gap here so large? What's the gap between the words? 6? Okay, that's reasonable. 6. I'm gonna reasonably center this here. Was horrible. Real people responding to rage baits and AI content. Yeah, isn't that so funny? I feel like it must be almost entirely... I feel like the instigators nowadays must be almost entirely like bots and AI and everything. And people just go there just to spiral. That's tough. That's tough stuff. Why does this feel so unbalanced? Let's try to move it over a little more. It's probably much better. Shenanigans, you've never had a Twitter account? Yeah. You're on Blue Sky but don't use it? Yeah, same. I think I technically did have a Twitter account. I think I was just sitting on the Digital Iliad username for a long time. But yeah, I don't think I've ever actually logged into it, and they probably deleted that account by now. It's rough. Yeah, no, Blue Sky is it definitely has like it's definitely nicer. It's definitely better and more wholesome or whatever, but it's equally like an echo chamber. It's just a nicer echo chamber. Yeah, I don't think it happened. Whatever needed to happen. Keep that system viable or whatever, to keep that platform viable, I don't think it's happening. Which I don't know if we actually need whatever that is. All right, 11, 20, 17. Move all of this down one, maybe. There we go. 20. Excuse me, I'm a little sniffly. I should probably go take some allergy meds or something. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go do that. I'll be right back. 1 second. Yeah, this thing always happens where I'm fine the whole morning, and then as soon as I start streaming, my allergies start acting up. So weird. All right, well, I think what the next thing I want to do is I want to just place that overall window here just to see how big it is. I think it'll probably just cover the whole battle map, but I want to do it in a way that looks good. So we will see. We'll see what that looks like. YouTube's the best social media for you? Yeah, I don't know. I guess technically YouTube is social media, but it's not. That's not how I use it, says the YouTuber. Because I don't know if I've ever read like a YouTube comment. I've made this decision. I mean, I read comments on my videos. Keep commenting my videos. Smash the like and subscribe buttons. But I think I made a decision a long time ago that has been very healthy for me, which is to just not read comments on any social media. Obviously not mine. Keep commenting on my videos. My partner does the opposite. My partner will like watch a YouTube, an Instagram reel that they thought was really nice, and then they'll read all the comments, which are usually so toxic and horrible. And they'll just be so distraught afterward. And I'm like, you could have just not read the comments. You could have just enjoyed the reel and then moved on with your day. Instead, now we're now despondent over like the state of the human condition or whatever. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Which also means avoid Reddit, because Reddit is just a comment section, right? Reddit is like if you took the comment section and was like, I'm going to make a whole website that's just comment sections. You use it more as a streaming platform like Netflix. Yeah, that's how I use it, LSG. That's how I use it. I'm usually listening to music or watching video from certain kind of categories. All right, let's see if this fits. This still doesn't feel super great. I probably need to move the end turn up. And then provide more space in the middle for the yes and the no and everything. Probably what I need to do. Chris, you think the one good use for infinite scroll town square social media is letting artist creators get exposure to the broader public? Yeah, but that doesn't happen. I think that's a good theoretical use, but that's not what happens. Artists don't get exposure from social media like that. They just don't. It used to happen before Musk bought Twitter. It's not just Twitter. Like Instagram, there's no discoverability on Instagram anymore. People who follow you don't even get to see your stuff on Instagram. It used to happen in classic Reddit pre-2012. Yeah, I think social media is just the worst, and I think it's irredeemably bad. Again, says the YouTuber. I'm of the opinion that it's irredeemably bad. Don't try to change my mind. You will fail. Is this okay? Seems okay. We'll see how much. Let's see how much space I have for the yes no buttons. Make a new. I think the incentives are just all wrong. Hey, Rhiannon. You use Reddit on some small communities? Yeah, I don't know. I've never been part of a Reddit community. And they're generally so hostile to game devs like sharing their work that it's not worth trying, in my opinion. Like if you try to share your work on a Reddit community, they're rightfully hostile to people just coming into their community just to self-promote. That's like they're rightfully hostile towards that. That's correct. It is correct to be hostile towards that. But if you go to like an indie game subreddit, it's only people sharing their stuff. Occasionally it's people like getting rage baited about stuff, but it's almost entirely just people trying to share their work. And so it's like, how hostile can you be when that's the only way people are engaging with your community? Or like, what are you supposed to do? Why is this? Oh, I'm just measuring from the wrong point. Allergies killed you? Yeah, no worries. Yeah, whenever my sinuses get destroyed like that, I know it's like a multi-day recovery process. So I kind of knew. I kind of knew you'd be out of commission. Processor chaos, that's horrible. You must produce social media content daily. That's true. That's true. And social media, again, the loose definition of social media. But like YouTube is a big part of my marketing plan for this game. It's really the only marketing plan. I kind of don't like this yes. Yes is making these buttons, like, enormous. I kind of want... I could also have confirm and then, like, go back. I can make this bigger. I don't love what the yes is doing in terms of how it's just, like, taking all of my screen space. Or it's expanding the size of the button such that it's going to look really awkward with a no. But we'll see, because I can always adapt this if that's true. But so far, I'm not liking this. Some of the game dev subreddits have really strict reposting rules and post-promotion ratios. It's tough on developers. Try to remember which rules apply to which subs. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very anti-Reddit. Especially, like, in the context of, like, how the current ownership treats Reddit as well. I don't see a lot of value in it for a dev trying to get their work out there. But again, it should be for more than just that, right? That's the whole point, right? Is you should be part of the community and stuff. But I don't see those communities as being particularly healthy either. I don't know, whatever. That's just me. I've never been a Redditor kind of person. I've never been a person who spent time on Reddit, so maybe I'm just not a good... Maybe I'm just not a... Maybe I'm just predisposed to not liking it. How much space do I generally leave on the edge of these buttons? 7? 7-ish? 7 for end turn. What about undo, redo, etc.? 6? 6? 5? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do this yes, no, go back thing. But let's finish the mock-up at least. I think we're gonna have end turn, and it's gonna be a button that says confirm, or maybe it'll just be maybe go back will be first, and then end, and then confirm, and then a don't ask again checkbox down at the bottom. I still like the don't ask again checkbox. Yeah, I get it, processor chaos. That's like, it's the whole marketing to only game devs problem. Like, if my games show up on Reddit, it's going to be because of someone here in the community or someone who finds me and finds the content and then they post it. Like, that's the only way I'm going to end up on Reddit. Is if someone in one of those communities is like, hey, there's this cool game, check it out. Because it ain't gonna be me. It ain't gonna be me posting it. I haven't done this nested button thing yet. And I actually don't think I like it. I don't think I like this nested button look. I kind of want to see what the size is like. I'm going to call this confirm. I'm going to call this end turn confirm. Sprite Atlas. I just want to see it in the situation here. I guess it would be in the upper UI layer because it needs to be above everything else. We'll just make it a texture rect for now. Challenge accepted. Thanks, Rhiannon. John Blow talked about that. You don't agree with him on everything. Oh, no. That's okay. That's okay. We don't automatically ban you for bringing him up. Love him or hate him, he's a legendary game designer. All of his takes are hot, but they're not all bad. For example, you've never bought any games from these streams. Huh. Yeah, technically none of my games are for sale, so that's all right. Did I just save this and not export it? Yeah, probably. Enter what? No, I think it's one of those things where you need to do more than just market your game to other game devs. But I do think they form an important part of like the hardcore center of your following. If you're doing streaming and whatever, if you're making YouTube videos about game dev and you're trying to sell games or you're Twitch streaming or whatever, like. And I think it helps. I think it helps because it's like I'm not embedded in game dev Reddit, but Rhiannon is. So it's like I can't take advantage of, you know, I'm never going to get a marketing boost from Reddit. But Rhiannon's part of the community, and maybe Rhiannon posts something about one of my games in Reddit, and that like kicks stuff off. So I think that when you market to game devs, they form part of that hardcore center of your community, which is not sufficient. It's not enough. But I think it's part of it. I think it's part of it. I think it can be an important like force multiplier. Like you need some kind of hardcore central part of people who are familiar with your games. And they can help spread the word through other communities that they're embedded in. So yeah, I don't think it's sufficient, but I think it, and I don't think it's technically necessary either, but I think it can help. I think it can help. You bought Blockshot from Fullbox. You plan to get Scope Creepers when it comes out. Most of the people you follow haven't released their game yet. And then you just tagged us all. That's funny. Yeah, Fullbox is prolific. I do want to play Scope Creep. It's so juicy. All right, where is this thing that I saved? Here it is. Intern confirm sprite. I just want to see how big this is. Oh, that's smaller than I thought it was going to be for some reason. Why did I think this was going to be? Oh, it's because the UI is half the resolution or double the resolution of what I thought it was. So this actually doesn't take up nearly as much of the screen as I thought. But yeah, I hate this. I don't think I want to do the nested button thing. I think what I want to do is have them be 4 separate buttons, which might look worse. Might look worse. But we can just put it in like a VBox container. I think that would be more coherent with the currently what we've got here. Yeah, I don't like that. I kind of hate that. So let's salvage what we can here. Maybe get your first 20 reviews or something. You don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, Processor Chaos. Hey, Mohammed. That's a great point. Like, how are you going to get to 10 reviews? It's going to be the hardcore. Are those people also game devs? Probably. That's a great point. How do you get to 10 reviews? And then how do you get to 50 reviews, right? Marketing to game devs probably won't get you to 50 reviews, but it might get you to 10. Might help you get to 50. Yeah, I think that's a great point. You just need a little kickstart. Sometimes you just need a little kickstart. All right, I think this button is too big. So let's just nuke all of this because we don't like it. No, I'll keep these because I can repurpose these. Or no, I won't. Just get rid of this whole layer. I do need a mask layer. I don't really need an icon. Oh, I guess I do need an icon layer. All right, so let's move the base up. Cut all of this out. Yeah. Thought I knew I wasn't going to do anything terribly substantial today. I knew it was going to kind of be like a hangout kind of day, and I'm having a good time. Hope y'all are too. It's almost Saturday. I'm just so tired. All right, so this can be between... So I think this version of the unturn button is 7. So what's this? 6? Something like that. We have the question mark at the end, but let's try to do something similar just so it looks coherent. So we can make this also 7. So that it looks the same. Smells really good in here all of a sudden, like someone like is cooking in my apartment building and it's just going everywhere. I'm getting hungry. Feels like summer here finally. People are like barbecuing all over the place. Smells good. Smells very savory. What are we looking at in terms of this? 6? Okay. Shenanigans, you're working on a Bethesda release schedule, 1 game every 15 years or so. That can work. That can work. It becomes part of the story. It becomes part of the narrative at that point, right? You can be like a Billy Basso. I actually don't know if that's how his name is pronounced, but you could do it. And like, I think a lot of game devs don't really care if you're indie, but there's an exception to that, which is if you're a solo dev. There's like a solo dev fetishism, I think. I think you can lean into that too. All right, what size is this? It looks like a good size, but I just want to confirm. 144, that is a good size. We're making an end turn confirm button to kind of just close out the week here. Just do something a little more chill. 'Cause I am tired. LSG confirmed, releasing a game 2027. Hell yeah. Yeah, Kenshi was a massive success. Kenshi was a crazy success. Oh, what's this? This is 4. That's too small. That looks good, though. 32. No, we can go 34. All the other ones are 34, so we might as well make this one 34 as well. All right. Consistent button sizes is good. think it's a little weird that it's going to be 4 separate buttons, but I think it'll look fine. By all accounts, Kenshi should not exist, but here we are. Oh, hey, Magoo. How's it going, Ilya? How's it going? Processor chaos, like Manor Lords being a solo game dev and having 40 people in the credits magically. Exactly, exactly. How's it going, Mohammed? Yeah, there is that. There is that. What was it? It was like, I forgot what Jeff Keighley said, but at like the Game Awards, they were like, Expedition 33 had a core team of like 33 people. And it's like, I don't think that's true. You look at the game credits, it's like significantly more than that. There is a small team slash solo dev fetishism. The solo dev one is the strongest. I think it's good. I think I'm gonna call it the Concern to Ape effect. Everyone loves that story. Everyone loves the solo dev story. The overnight success that took 10 years, right? The overnight success, 10 years in the making. Ooh, I don't know if I love how the word confirm looks in this font. Ugh. Okay, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good. That's a rough one. Yeah, what is this? Con Air? Solo dev and couples. Yeah, people do love a good couples dev story. And yeah, arguably Stardew is a couples story. Yeah. Manual tweak some pixels. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We can do that. It means we have to be careful about how that shows up. And what I really should do is try to go into the font and like mess with its like spacing. This is a little rough though. I actually just kind of hate this. I think it's the R and the M that I almost hate more than the F and the I. What if we tried this? Confirm. That looks ridiculous. So the reason we didn't just do the yes or the no is that it looked whack. Oh, I deleted it. Can I bring it back? So the reason I didn't do that is the yes and the no were weirdly spaced, but that's because they were next to each other. If we put them top to bottom, maybe. I mean, I guess that's not that bad. I still don't like the nested button thing. I still don't like the nested window. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I just don't like it. I also maybe think maybe it shouldn't say end turn. Maybe it should say like, are you sure? Well, end turn is probably better because you won't forget what you did. Okay. Okay is not bad. It still has the problem of there's the Y. The problem is that the Y extends it down. Oh, really? Maybe just remove the outer frame entirely. Yeah, what I was going to do is I was going to do them as separate little button things. I thought that would be more coherent. But yeah, it's kind of shocking how bad confirm looks. All right, we're in ads. I'm gonna eat this last slice of apple that I forgot to eat before the stream started. I bit my lip this morning with breakfast, and I just did it again on my apple. That's fun. LSG, does the yellow font pop fine against the background? No. Exciting times. Waiting for the venue to accept your order just before closing time. Ooh, yeah, I can't do that. I get too ashamed to do that. If I can't order like 30 minutes before closing time, I go find somewhere else to eat. I'm too ashamed. I've spent too long in customer service. Not to shame you out of doing it. I think it's fine. If they didn't want to take orders, they wouldn't take orders. I think this will be too long if I do this. I kind of want to try Are You Sure? Here. This. It's a little crowded to an extent here, but we can just move that down. It's these Ys. Using the Ys in the button is like really just creates way more negative space than I want. But I think we could try Are You Sure? And then you could have next turn or go back. That's what I kind of want to try. Instead of asking end turn repeatedly, I kind of want to try this. Also, I probably need to resize first. Is this all right? What's going on here with the center? 10 above, 10 below. Yeah, that's actually perfect. What about for real? Yeah. No, there's gonna be plenty of time for super snarky dialogue in the character interactions. There'll be plenty of time. That's nice, Nanigans. I think it's cool, especially the way you have talked about how your game is going to like use the same world, or if you like wipe and have to like send out a new party, like you might encounter the same locations or the same characters or whatever. I think it'd be really cool if you go across like the same area again and there's the battle damage from like a fight that you had in like a previous campaign or something. Cool. I was watching someone play Project Zomboid, which is hitting 1.0 after like a cool 13 years in early access or something. And that's a fun game where you like stumble across the same location. And it's like got all the same stuff that you left when you died. Move the whole thing. Something like this, I think, is all right. That's 7. You might just have to, Nanigans. You might just have to. I think persisting it would be really cool. Obviously a lot more work. Yeah, so if it was like, are you sure? Because you already hit end turn. And then we could say something else rather than just end turn again. We can say, are you sure? And it can be like next turn. And then I think it'll say go back. And then we'll have this little checkbox that's like, don't ask again. I think that's more coherent with how our UI currently is set up than this thing, than the nested. I don't think I want to nest these red outlined UI boxes. The only exception is this kind of thing where it's like they're overlapped but partially. I like that. Or like little tab thing. I like that. I just don't want to fully do this. This looks wrong to me. I bet I could come up with something that looks okay, but I don't like it. It's good to know. It's good to know I don't like that. That will inform the way I set up things like dialogue boxes and stuff. There is some overlap that we do, like with roster tabs. Like when I play a character. We've got our roster tab. That's an overlap, but these are different colors. I think the coloration needs to change. for in stuff like this. And it's not fully overlapped. It always sticks out a little bit. So I think we would do something like that if we were going to do more overlapping stuff. Really glad I added some of the hard highlight stuff here. Looks good. Did I mention how good the Odyssey was? It's like all I can think about. Well, it's not all I can think about it, but it keeps popping into my head. They had some really interesting commentary. Again, I'm not going to talk about spoilers. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to do it. I will say that there's an impossible task associated with trying to tell a story like this, which is connecting it with the modern audience, which I think is literally an impossible challenge. I think it's what Alex Jaffe would call a cursed problem. Well, maybe it doesn't actually match the definition of a cursed problem, but I think it's an impossible thing to do. But you know, they did a good job. But yeah, no, I won't talk about it anymore. Spoilers. If we want, you know what I'll do is I'll probably, if I feel like I have to talk about it, I'll make a discussion thread in the Discord. And we can talk about it there. You saw it opening day on IMAX? Hell yes. I actually thought he maybe over-intellectualized it. But again, I can talk about it more in the Discord. I think they did a little bit too much meta narrative in terms of like trying to connect it to like the historical record from the Bronze Age. They tried to reframe some like, because no spoilers for the film, but obviously the Odyssey is like, you know, thousands of years old. People are familiar with the story. I think they tried to reframe a lot of the motivation for what happened from a geopolitical standpoint. I think they tried to reframe it way more pragmatically so that modern audiences would understand it. And I don't think that Nolan misunderstood the story. I think Nolan understands the story completely. But I think he correctly surmised that we are too far. We are too distant from these people, and we literally don't understand their motivations for doing things. Like, we don't understand their conceptions of honor and the way that their economies worked and the way that their belief systems interacted and motivated their actions. Yeah, I think they tried to reframe a lot of the stuff that happened. And it kind of confuses how they thought, how people from that age thought, which I've read a lot about that stuff. There's a really good book called The World of Odysseus by a historian, and it does a really good job contextualizing their cultural values and how their society actually worked. And I think it really helps you understand why they do the things that they do and why they believe the things that they do. You can interpret it yourself, obviously, but I think having that context is really helpful. And again, I don't think Nolan misunderstood, but I think he correctly surmised that the modern audience would misunderstand. And so he tried to rationalize some stuff a little more, which I thought was, I would say that was of middling success for me. I don't totally agree with that approach, but I understand why. I understand why they did it. because I think that's the big challenge of telling a story like that, is connecting these characters for the audience and making it so that their actions and motivations make sense to a modern audience. And some parts of that story are truly timeless, and then other parts of the story are really steeped in the way they thought and the way they believed, and some very specific way that their system worked that's just totally alien to us as modern people. But yeah, the action, I agree with you. The action was sick. Nolan is the king of the practical effect, and he made all of it seem so believable and made all of it feel so real. Because again, no spoilers, but like, dude definitely like just built those ships. Like that all felt so, everything about that felt so real. So good. It was like the opposite of like a Sinbad or, you know, Clash of the Titans or whatever, or even the CGI modern equivalents where like everything just feels unreal and disconnected. Why did I say go ahead? It's go back. What's wrong with me? It's because I'm yapping. Why did I feel like I needed to resize it vertically though? That's not right. Oh, it's because it's 36 instead of 34. I actually do want to make it 34 again. So I actually do want to bring these in 1 pixel. Your favorite history YouTuber, Adrian Goldsworthy, made a video about the movie. Oh, I might check that out. I might have seen a little bit of an interview with him, if I'm thinking of the right person. I thought about having this be like go ahead and go back. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's great. Also, I know in some cases you would have the negative answer before the affirmative answer. Sometimes when you're doing UI like this, I don't think I want to do that in this case just because of the tapering. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. Hey, Drip. You need to lock in your Game Jam game? Oh, yeah, I got it going. Are you doing GMTK? Lock in, by all means. You're doing game like? Oh, I think you mentioned that before. Yeah, what was the game? It's Minecraft, right? You're making a Minecraft like? How's that going? That seems like a lot. That seems like a lot to do in like a very small amount of time. Like it'd be one thing, like if I would love a rogue. I think I was looking through their history and they did a rogue game like jam. And like that's one that you could totally do in like a week, right? But like Minecraft, that seems like a lot. Next step is polish the movement, work on the generation for the destructible dungeon. Ooh, cool. Is this reasonably balanced? Is this 4? Yeah, this is reasonably balanced. Is it? It's maybe a bit top heavy the way I've done this. 7. Okay, let's move the text down by 1. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. Or a happy Friday. I'm ready for the weekend. Think Noida, but more dungeon. Less cave and 3D. Oh, shit. That's even harder. Noida was not built in a day. Much like Rome. Yeah, I think as soon as the Odyssey is available to rent, I'm going to go watch it again. And by go, I mean sit at home and watch it again. It's like any Nolan film. You need to watch it like a few times. I think I need to watch it a few times before I really settle on my opinions about it. But yeah, we don't have to talk about it much more. You gonna watch it again? Yeah. I got a little distracted. I watched it at Alamo Draft House, which is one of those places where you like get food and everything, and they like serve you directly at like your seat, and you get a little table where you can like eat and stuff. But they were so busy; it took so long to get my food. I was was getting like lightheaded. I waited like so long for my food, and I effed up in that I didn't use the proper channels to like complain and ask for help. But like I was like, but I couldn't look away, so I was just like, I almost had like I was having like an experience, because I was like so hungry. I felt like I understood those poor men on the screen who just wanted some food and to go home. Okay, do I build these separately? Do I put this in like proper sprite atlases? Probably, sure. I probably should. Instead of just put them in one. I kind of want to put them in one. It's not a good idea to do that, but I might anyway. Hey, Arneo, did you miss the Odyssey talk? A bit. I'd say go see it. And I think once my thoughts on it have coalesced, I might make like a media discussion thread in the Discord about it. I'll just plug the Discord. But yeah, go watch it. It's great. I mean, it's instantly my favorite movie of his, but again, I'm like predisposed. I'm predisposed to thinking that. But yeah, already instantly, as soon as it started, it was my favorite Nolan movie ever. So, yeah. You know. Let's try to get this part hooked up correctly. Let's try to get the don't ask again bit sorted out here. Is this centered? I feel like this is definitely not centered. No, it's not. I don't know when that happened. I guess I'll just build it around it. That's what I should do. It doesn't need to be this big. Oh, 6. It should probably also be 6 then. I also thought it was just as interesting what Nolan decided to cut as what he kept in. I thought he made some really interesting choices. Some of them were super obvious, but some of them were subtle and very interesting in terms of recontextualizing things. But no spoilers. We're not spoiling anything. Everyone just go watch it. Everyone's talking about Red Bull. Rhiannon, this was a 3 Red Bull day. Lord. Pack Theater was exciting. Yeah. No, it was crazy. When the film ended, it was silence in the theater. Like, everyone was like... I think we had all been just so locked in and so struck by it. So good. You can't spoil a historic epic thousands of years old. You can spoil a movie. The choices that he made about what he included and what he didn't include and all of that and the way he told it is all very interesting, and I would still consider spoilers. But yeah. There is a limit. There's a limit. But yeah, I won't go into it. Everyone go watch it. I'm gonna watch it again. I don't think I'm gonna watch it again in theaters, but I will wait. As soon as it's available to rent, I will probably watch it again. But again, I'm predisposed. I'm actually like, so should I read my current version of the Odyssey, which I have, which is the Peter Green version, which I think I've read it before, or should I go trade my Peter Green version, my Peter Green translation of the Odyssey for the Emily Wilson one? Because I think I read the Emily Wilson Iliad translation, which is really good. And I'm like, oh, do I want to read the Peter Green translation again, or do I want to go get the Emily Wilson translation? And I don't know. I haven't decided. I might read both. 7, right? Or is that too much? Let's see. Well, let's move it back up here. Is it longer now? It's longer now, which I guess is okay. But how long is it? Four pixels longer? That's okay. I wonder if there's a way to do this with my like tab style. I wonder if I can represent this as a series of tabs. Instead of separate buttons. I might try that in a second. Why does this look off balanced? Even though it's not. Okay. Move it down and see if that looks better. Still looks off balanced.
Maximum warp.
Hey, no Jewel, maximum warp. How's it going? You want to read the Emily Wilson one, Rhiannon? Yeah, they had her do a reading in the theater. That was like one of the sequences before the film. I don't think it's part of the theatrical release. I think it was like a thing that Alamo does cool stuff like that. And it was very good. Her approach is very good. It's a lot like Nolan's approach, which I think is why he chose her version. It does a lot to make the characters understandable to the modern audience in a way that previous translations kind of more err on the side of like the epic poetry part of it, and they try to retain more of the poetry, but the poetry is it's an artificial version of the language. Like, nobody spoke that way. Nobody spoke the way that the Iliad or the Odyssey is written, right? Like, it uses a totally different convention. So she does a great job of making it much plainer to the audience of what people are saying and what they mean. Okay, I don't think I can do my fun tab idea unless I don't do... I thought I could maybe do a tab thing, but maybe this is good enough. Let us see. Let us just save this, export it. Just see what this looks like. Yeah, I don't read very much. Part of it's I don't have a lot of time. But yeah, I think I probably will read the Odyssey. Because it's been a while since I read it. Not like since school a while, but like it's been a while. I think I read the Iliad more recently than the Odyssey. And even that was like a few years ago, probably. Well, there's not enough spacing between these. For one thing. B... I actually don't hate this. If I improve the spacing, I think this is 4. Well, it actually might be more than 4. Might be 6. It's 4 here at the edge, but I think it might be 6 between. We're gonna do that just so that I can decide whether I like the basic structure of this or not. I thought for a second I could maybe do the tabbing kind of thing, but because the sizes are different, I don't think that's a good idea. This didgeridoo song like puts me in such a weird trance. I don't know what else to call this song. I'm definitely maximally tired. I don't really drink Red Bull or Monster or whatever. Man. The only thing I am more than tired is thirsty. Also, the order in which they told the story, 1, 2, 3, 4, is also a spoiler, so I won't mention it, but it was genius. I could go on and on. Just a couple of streams. What's the game status right now? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm tired, so we're just kind of doing some UI stuff. You know, arguably these could be half size and they could be next to each other. Right now we're doing like a confirm button for end turn. Because the end turn is like the one thing that's like irreversible in this game. When you've ended a turn, that's it. So I decided we needed something. So, but we've got movement. We've got undo, redo, the full undo, redo stack. All the serialization's good. We can move guys around. They pay a cost for moving. Got some good visualization for it. We need actions. They need to be able to take actions. So they need to be able to like use their equipment to do stuff. That we don't have, but to do that, we need to refactor our equipment a little bit, the way we represent it in data, so that we can assign tags and characteristics to equipment so we would know how they would act and how they would behave and stuff. So that's like the I think the last big mechanical thing that we need to sort out before the game is like basically playable. And then we need just the progression of like how the player actually interacts with the game, like how we go from encounter to encounter. So we're getting there. We're getting there. I added back the delay for like the card animations, and I really like it. Like it feels good. Something like this when you hit end turn. I could even make the "Are you sure" part even bigger, but I don't think I need to. I think something like this is reasonable. So you'd hit end turn and it would be like, "Are you sure?" And you can be like, "Next turn, go back," and you can like check a "Don't ask again" box. I think that's reasonable. Percy Nolan played with time again? No, obviously. Well, you know. It's an epic. It involves things like prophecy and stuff like that, but no. It was just a very smart idea in terms of how to tell you, of how to unfold the story chronologically. Just very smart. Also, again, no spoilers, but he does a really good job recontextualizing the story in the context of the whole epic cycle. Which I think is one of those things that people get confused about. Like someone in a Discord I was in just the other day was like, "What? Since when does the Iliad not include the fall of Troy?" And it's like, since always. Since ever. The Ethiopius is the one, actually doesn't even, it's the Little Iliad that tells the fall of Troy, which is not a work that exists anymore, I don't think. Same thing with the Cypria. I don't actually know if we have these. Yeah, the other ones we have short fragments of. The Cypria, or Kypria, whatever you want to call it. The Kypria, the Ethiopius, which is the one that, spoilers, Achilles dies in the Little Iliad. Yeah, it was so funny. And someone was like, "Wait." The Iliad doesn't include this stuff. And it's like, no, it doesn't. But they did a good job of contextualizing the nostoi, the journey of return, within the overall epic cycle. But yeah. Great film. Go watch it. Instantly my favorite Nolan film. Predisposed to liking it already, so not a big surprise. But that's one of those things where you could bungle it in the same way that, like, they could have ruined The Lord of the Rings, and many would argue they now have, especially with the hunt for Gollum. All right, should I do this well, or should I just do this? I'm gonna just do this in a way that's somewhat lazy. But yeah, did not disappoint. And you know, The Hobbit is like the prequel trilogy. People hated it when it came out, but man, the apologists, everyone is like already just down with the series now. Because again, compared to The Hunt for Gollum, I think people are going to be like, wow, The Hobbit was so good. You can't have nice things, basically. Hey, Wolfheart. Is this new project? What do the cards look like? Oh, I'll show you. One sec. How's it going? Happy Friday. Yeah, it's we've been working on it for about a little less than 2 months. It's a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. Working on a little piece of the UI here. Your favorite thing about Oppenheimer was how the movie was paced and how integral the speed of the storytelling really affects the story itself. Yeah, I haven't seen that. That's the only one of the only Nolan films I've ever seen. We can show you because we're actually building this game in kind of a weird order. We're doing the card stuff and the UI stuff first. So here's our cards. The cards are all the things. So they're the characters, their equipment, their abilities. Right now we just have one character in here with their abilities because has been enough for testing so far. So yeah, at the moment you can play your cards. You can equip your character with stuff. Like I can give them this chipped maul. And then I can actually level up the chip maul. So you can see plus XP plus level. So now it's a level 2 chipped maul. It'll affect his stats and stuff. We haven't sorted out how you use it, how you take actions with your equipment yet. But then if I go here and I like replace the maul with like a different weapon, now when it goes into the discard, now I have 1 level 2 chipped maul instead of 2 level 1s. So it's going to be about building your deck and leveling up your characters and their equipment and making sure that you have the right character with the right equipment and the right abilities on the field for each encounter. And that's how you're going to be. That's why cycling the deck is going to be important and stuff. And making trade-offs for like short-term games versus long-term games in terms of playing the card that you need to win the encounter versus playing the card that you need to like be stronger later. But yeah, we've got movement. We're still, the last big mechanical thing to sort out is taking actions. And to do that, I kind of need to rework my card resources for how equipment is represented so that we can tag it with like what the actions are like and everything, but we can do that. We also have undo redo. So we have a full undo redo stack. So I just unplayed a card. Now I got that chip maul back. So you can fully undo redo within any given turn. And you basically go through timeline style like you would in like a CRPG or like D&D where like you take turns. You They spawn items in a top-down grid. I deployed this guy. So, like, well, all I can do here is reload, but, like, I created a deployment zone. This is a sandbox, so it's not super representative of how a turn would go, but, like, yeah, the cards become tokens that you can either place on the battle map directly, like if it's a character that's not on the board yet, or they're like pieces of equipment that you can play onto a character and give them that equipment. So I can give them this like chest piece and this helmet. And then some stuff should be mutually exclusive. Like if I equip this shield, it should actually discard the hammer, which is maybe like, it doesn't do that yet, but, and if you were like, oh, I didn't want to do that, you can be like undo and you just got it back. So hopefully it's friendly enough to learn. Will you have you got a currency in the game? Equipment has a value. I haven't decided how to represent that yet. Currently, we just have like a field in the corner that says value. I kind of want to use, I have copper, silver, and gold. I kind of want to use that, but the problem is we just have very little room on the cards for representing that. So I need to think about that, about what's worth putting on the cards. What's worth taking up the real estate. There probably will be more tool tipping in the future. Hey, Still Needs Work, subscribing at tier 1. Thank you so much, Still Needs Work. Really appreciate you. It's been a minute. How are you doing? We've been working on this game for a couple months. We're trying to make a short game, spend like a year or so on development. We're trying to get a demo out by the end of the year. Or do or do not. Good do or good don't. There is no try here. So we're gonna get a demo out by the end of the year, Steam demo. Will you have a group fellowship or just a lone character? No, it's party. The game is called Party Wipe. And the goal is to like keep the encounters going and never let all your characters die. You'll have 4 characters. You'll pick 4 characters at the beginning out of like a max of like 15 or something like that. And those will be the characters that you can draft equipment and abilities for. And so, yeah, if all your characters die on the battlefield, you've lost. And you got to start over, roguelike style. Looks nice. Yeah, the look is what we've really put a lot of effort into. Hey, Commander. How's it going? Happy Friday. Thank Godot, it's Friday. But yeah, we're working on a lot. The only irreversible, so because of the undo redo system, almost anything you do is reversible in a turn. But the only irreversible thing is ending the turn. Ending the turn cannot be undone, and it resets the history. So once you've ended a turn, that's like, no more undo redo. You discard your hand and draw a new hand, and now you're, well, you don't discard your hand and draw a new hand. At the beginning of a round of combat, that's what would happen, but I think each turn you'll just draw one, and then discard down to 6 at the end of your turn, if you're over 6 cards. But yeah, that's part of the reason why we need to get out of this sandbox and actually start going through the actual progression and flow of the game properly. Hey, Commander, you're going awesome. You got the job? Hell yes. Congratulations. That's great. All right. So what we're doing, what we're doing today, right now, probably going to spend the whole rest of the stream doing it. I'm tired, so we're just going to make a UI element where we confirm that we want to go to the next turn. Just so you don't accidentally end the turn. And then you'll be able to turn this off if you're like speed running, or if you're me and you're like testing the game. Do you pick where you go in the world or what enemies you encounter? I have opinions about that. I'm not going to do the full like Slay the Spire node-based map thing, because I actually listened to them talk about it. And they're of the opinion, or at least Giovanetti is. I don't know if Casey Yano has the same opinion, but the other creator was like, I don't think you need a. Actually, maybe this was Casey Yano's opinion. They were like, I don't think you need a map if you only have a few choices. And I think I'm gonna take that approach. I think there's just gonna be a lot of like forks. There's gonna be like at the beginning, so I can actually talk about this because I'm not really doing anything significant right now. But I've envisioned the start of the game. I think we're gonna do. I think it's gonna be kind of. I don't know how many people are familiar with this, but if you're familiar with D&D, you're probably familiar with the Yawning Portal, which is a tavern that I think is in Waterdeep, and which is a town on like the Sword Coast or whatever in one of the D&D settings, one of the big D&D settings. And the Yawning Portal is interesting because it's this tavern, and it's also the entrance to a region called the Undermountain, which is like an inverted mountain, right? Not the Underdark. The Underdark is different, I think. I don't know if they're connected anywhere. They might be. But there's this area called the Undermountain, and it's basically this great underground dungeon that you can enter by going into this like well in this big well in the Yawning Portal, right? That's the Yawning Portal part, is the entrance to the Undermountain. And we're going to do something like that. So we're going to do this thing where you start out, you pick your characters, like your party is assembled like in a tavern. That's going to be where like the character selection happens and the equipment drafting at the beginning. It's going to happen in this like tavern. And you're going to get two choices. When did this become an odd numbered box here? No, it's even. Why does this feel odd? 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, I just can't count. You're going to have two choices after you like pick your party. You can go out. This is very, there's a lot of D&D metagaming stuff here. But you basically have two choices, which is you can go out or you can go down. The tavern keeper will be like, there's rats in the basement or something like that. Or like, I need you to go down. There will be some reason for you. They will ask you to go down. But you have the option to just leave, right? So there's going to be like, the story asks you to do something. But you could also just do your own thing, because that's D&D, right? I run perpendicular. It's all about like ignore it. Like the DM wants me to go left, I go right, you know? So there's going to be two choices. You can either go out into the wilderness and try to escape. Because I think there's going to be like an amnesia thing of like nobody really remembers how they got to this tavern. And nobody really knows where they are or what's going on. Because you're just in this tavern. You're in this little town or tavern in the wilderness, right? And I think that's how it's going to be, is you can either be like, fuck this, I want to leave, and you can just leave. And then you would go proceed through this wilderness thing to try to leave. Or you can be like, all right, we're going down. The enemy's gate is down, and we're going down. And then you delve down into the dungeon. So I think there's going to be two major biomes, quote unquote, which is like the outdoor wilderness and like the underground. And you will progress through those in like a kind of Hades-like progression where eventually you do leave or something like that if you win. Like, eventually you do get out or you achieve something or whatever, but like I think that's the narrative hook of it. That's my starting idea of how this is gonna work. So I've already planned a lot in terms of like, I wouldn't say a lot, but I've already done planning in terms of like distinguishing the underground dungeons from like the outdoor wilderness, and like thinking about what characters will be there, what NPCs would be there, what certain bosses or monsters you'd encounter, maybe what kind of equipment would be more relevant for fighting there. This is off center. Why is this? When did this become off center, and why is it off center? Are my two questions here. 2, 1, 2. But that's like my starting idea. There's obviously a lot of wiggle room there, but it so far it tickles me, that basic premise. Doo-doo-doo. When you move around cards around, sounded complex at first, but 2 main paths sounds more reasonable. Yeah, 2 paths. There's always gonna be 2 paths. Once you're on the 2 paths, there will probably be some amount of forking your path further within the 2 paths, but I don't think you're ever gonna get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm halfway through the wilderness, now I'm all of a sudden in the dungeon or whatever. I think there will be further forks. Not all the time, but like occasional forks where you can be like, oh, do you want to go into the swamp or do you want to go into the, I don't know, whatever, the desert or something. I don't know if we'll have a desert. I don't think I actually have the right assets for a desert, but something like that. When you move cards around, how you make sure they are shown on top? Well, we use a card plugin that does a lot of that for us, but we still have had to do certain things to make sure that that works, because the card plugin has its own. We use the Simple Cards card plugin, and that has its own Z indexing stuff that they do to make sure that cards are ordered amongst each other correctly. But we still needed to do some splitting to make sure that certain parts of the UI are drawn over each other always. And so I've created different canvas layers. So there's like a lower canvas layer, a middle canvas layer, and an upper canvas layer. So within there, there's a certain amount of sorting. But like the player hands, for example, are always, like the card hands are always on the highest layer because you always want the cards to be over everything. Actually, this should probably be like, for that reason, this might be, maybe not. So a lot of it's managed for us, but we do some amount of, like, you want to make sure, like, if I put, where are my knights? I'm getting equipment screwed here. Okay, here's my knight card. So yeah, you have like a character sheet. You want to make sure that, like, well, you can't actually do this because of the way I've set it up. But yeah, you want to make sure that the card always shows up in front of the character sheet and stuff, right? So we're using canvas layers to enforce that. Same thing where if like the character sheet's open and I do this, you want to make sure that the card preview is like, we have to do something about that. We have to like turn off the environment map when one of the card previews are open. Or we just have to unselect the character when the card preview is open, maybe. We probably need to stop processing. That's fine. We can do that. But yeah, I like the 2 main paths thing, Arneo. I really do like it. Because yeah, I didn't want it to just be like you had no choices, because that doesn't feel very RPG. I think it's funny if one of your choices is to basically be like, fuck this, I'm leaving. Because that's a very D&D thing to do. Be like, well, the DM obviously wants us to go this way, so we're going to go this way instead. All right, take it easy, Commander. Good luck with the new job. Give him hell. All right, so let's do the hover version of this button. This is going to be kind of inefficient, but I'm okay with doing it this way. All right, so it's normal, hovered, pressed, focused, and then disabled. We need all of those except disabled. We don't need disabled. So we'll just do normal, hover, and pressed, and focused. All right, we're heading back into ads. Hold on to your ads, people. Oh, you know what I could do before I do all of that is I probably should shade the buttons if I'm going to do that. Or shade the text. A 2 pic? No, 1 pixel, yeah. Duh. Wolfart, is there no good way to handle text in Godot, or do you just prefer to add it like this? There's fine ways to handle text in Godot. It's hard to do it pixel perfect. But these are also buttons and like discrete UI elements. So obviously if we're like talking about a dialogue window, we're not going to be doing a dialogue. Like dialogue has to be dynamic, right? I don't know if you're in ads, but if you're not in ads, that's it. Like doing buttons and stuff, you'd want to do a button statically, I think, especially if you watch the way that I alter the button based on different press states. Like you can't do this with a text field. Not really. Unless I was willing to make different versions of the font. You're assuming no plans to translate? Exactly. If plans to translate form, I would probably just rebuild the entire UI from scratch. And I'd be able to do that because if I'm planning to translate this game, I have at least a 6-month runway to do whatever the hell I want. In which case, we would probably make a mobile version. Mobile version would probably be the thing we did. Because this game it just screams for a mobile version. It would be very good, in my opinion. But there's no point in doing a mobile version if you aren't already successful on Steam. The Butterscotch Shenanigans people have some interesting stats that suggest that Steam is the discoverability engine for the mobile stores. Meaning nobody discovers games on the mobile stores. They just look for games that they already have or like on Steam. So we need to succeed first before we think about anything like that, like localization. But yeah, we're hard coding everything because it's a pixel art game. I don't need a dynamic UI for a pixel art game. Hate to be that guy, but you can actually absolutely do that with the text field. You would either need a shader or you would need 3 versions of the font, right? How would you do these 3 buttons, Nanigans? And then this one too. Or wait, where's the... This should actually look like this. This was done slightly wrong. This is my favorite one, this one down here. How would you do focused? Which is an overlay over the normal button. With a font. I'm curious. I'm not like giving you a trick question. I'm like curious about how you would implement, especially this one, which needs to be a masked overlay over the normal button. But yeah, I don't know how you would do these without either making multiple variants of the font or having some kind of shader that was like font aware. And how would you make it? The most important question is how would you make that pixel perfect without any anti-aliasing? Yeah, you do it with a fragment shader. Also, the offset by 1 doesn't work. Because this isn't adjacent to the text. This is on top of the text. So yeah, I've done the offset shadow thing. That's kind of what I'm faking here. Yeah, the layering here, this is the case of, you could totally do it with shaders and stuff, but like, could you do it more quickly than what I'm doing right now? Probably not. It's a trade-off. It's always a trade-off. You know, we've walked down this road. You know, I'm not afraid of spending a year and a half on a tool for a game that I ultimately put on hold. You know, I'm not afraid of going deep into tooling. But part of the principle behind this game is to move fast and to keep it simple. So that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, I don't think the duplicate would work, but I'd be interested to see a way of the duplicate could work. I guess what you would do is you'd render this one first. You'd render these two in the orange and the white in whatever order, offset. Well, but yeah, but that's, I guess the trick is that this isn't an offset. It's layered directly over. I don't know. Yeah, that one, I think you would just make a different design decision. You'd be like, well, no, the highlight's going to be here instead. I think you would just be like, put the highlight here, which I don't like as much, but Unity has an underlay. Oh, okay. Yeah, the precision part is one of the big deals for me. Doing it pixel perfect is hard, in my opinion. I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's hard. Pixel perfect's not hard. You just know how many pixels you have and divide by 1 by that many pixels and clamp your values to that. You think No Jules flame text stuff does that? Oh, maybe. But yeah, this is just easier for me. There's a million ways to skin a cat. And we could argue about it all day, or we could make games. You missed the context. The context is that you're doing this correctly and I'm doing it wrong. No Jewel knows all. We're talking about skinning cats. Exactly, Lacutus. No Jewel is the #1 cat skinner in Europe. I'm #1 cat skinner NA. And we don't meet except at the World Championship. The cat skinning World Championship. Yeah. It's an unfortunate analogy. No cats were harmed in the making of this metaphor. But what's a metaphor anyway? I genuinely don't think this is possible to do with just a font. Because that's what we were originally saying. I don't disagree with you, Nanigans. I just don't think it's as simple as the thing of, you could just do this with a text field. I don't think that's true. I don't think I could just plug in my text field and the font and achieve this. I think I would need a number of additional features. Sounds like there's some cool stuff in Unity, though, which I haven't messed around with. The cat skin cat world. That's pretty good, Lacutus. That's pretty good. I see what you did there. You could make me a plugin that does it, Nanigans. I'd appreciate that. Nothing's ever as simple as just doing it. Could you use copies of the text on different layers and do 1 pixel offset to speed it up? No. I mean, maybe. Maybe. Again, I don't think you can because of this. Because this isn't an offset. It's a partial overlay. I think this is a stylistic choice that would be hard to do that way. Maybe it's doable though. Maybe if you did it in this order where you did this one first, No, you couldn't, because then this wouldn't stay over. Yeah, I think you would just make a different stylistic choice if you wanted to do it that way. Yeah, it is an offset, but it's not, it covers up the original. So you would need to do some kind of masking thing where you like did an offset and like removed the part. I don't know, whatever. It's easier. It's conceptually and practically easier for me to do this. If you think you have a better way, go make a game with it. I'm not trying to be mean. That's just my genuine response when people are like, "Couldn't you do it this way?" And it's like, "Yeah, I could, but I'm already doing it this way." I famously have a bad workflow. I famously have a very simple workflow because cognitive overhead is the thing that I have the least of. Like if I had hired an artist to do this stuff, I would expect them to be doing this better than the way I'm doing it. But because I'm doing it, I'm allowed to do it inefficiently. Because I'm a generalist. Bad workflow is on Brown here. Yes, Arneo, it very much is. You still working on spaceship game? We're holding on it. It's on hold. It's in a holding pattern. We're trying to do this roguelike deck builder. Because the spaceship game has maybe like 6 more years of development time that it needs. So I'm just taking a year to do this. And then, we'll probably get back to it someday. We're not in a hurry. Well, I could do this one much more quickly. I just did color replace. Yeah, I'm of the opinion that if you do something once, you really don't need to be that concerned about how long it takes to do. I need to make more room. That might not be aligned perfectly. I need to remember to realign that before I do that one. I'm just tired of moving it around. I should put these on different sprite sheets. I would have an easier time if I put them on different sprite sheets. I just don't care. Oh, I need to do the mask. Which I arguably should have put this part as part of the mask, not the text, but who cares? Who cares? I also kind of like doing stuff this way. I've had a lot of accidental, like, oopsie, like, ooh, that's a really good, that's a cool, that's a happy accident right there. I think there's some things I would have never come up with if I hadn't been just doing it all very manually. Whatever. I'm just justifying the thing I already would have done anyway, which is the weakest kind of justification. Very Bob Ross. We try. We don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. You know, because every day is a good day when you paint. Maybe no one will film the Iliad. Ooh. I doubt it. But that would be interesting. Here's the reason why nobody adapts the Iliad. Well, there is that film Troy. But we'll just pretend like it doesn't exist. It's not that bad. Troy is quite good when you compare it to the film Alexander. But yeah, there's a reason most of the time you don't adapt the Iliad, and it's because the Odyssey is still like a fairly approachable and understandable story to a modern audience. Like, we understand why, like, we understand the struggle of Telemachus and Penelope and Odysseus. Like, it's very understandable what they're doing and what they have to go through in their struggle, because it's like grounded in family and everything, right? Like, it's way more approachable to an audience. The Iliad is insane. The Iliad makes no sense why anyone is there doing what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it. Like, the Iliad is crazy by comparison. Like, Nolan famously doesn't include many of the gods in his Odyssey portrayal. I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean, there's our Queen Zendaya, but there's not a lot of gods in his portrayal, and you could not do that in the Iliad. The Iliad is like chock-a-block with Greek gods. It's like wall-to-wall Greek gods. Like, I think a river gets into the fight at one point. Like, I think Achilles is fighting a river at one part of the Iliad. I'm virtually certain that happens. That Achilles gets into a fight with a river. That's tough. That's tough to film. That would be difficult. It would be awesome. I totally want to watch Achilles fight a river. But yeah, that's tough. I'm still not going to bother aligning these yet. But yeah, I'm going to be thinking about that movie for a while. That was good. They did a good job. Everyone involved in that did a good job. Some of the best characters in that movie were some of, like, the soldiers and servants. Like, everyone brought their A game. John Leguizamo, I think, is in that. Is he? I'm gonna feel really bad if it was someone else. No, it's definitely John Leguizamo. He does such a good job in that film. And in the book, it's kind of a bit part, but man, he is... He left no crumbs, as the kids would say. They probably wouldn't say that. But if they did, that's what they would say. All right, yeah, this is a dumb way to structure this, but I don't want to create... yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it just so that I don't hate myself later. What size is this? .144 by 144. All right, we'll do this. We'll try to do this properly. There's no icon here, is there? No, there's just base, mask, and text. I was like, I don't need to do this. If I did this, I would be so annoyed later. Rhiannon, one of your favorite things that came out of the movie is all the stories about Tom Holland having no clue how non-Marvel movies are made. It's crazy how much, like, it's very obvious how practical. I mean, Nolan's already famous for famously practical developer in terms of like the extent that they go to do practical effects. But it's like, I think it's very clear that he had like master shipwrights build him ships for that movie. Like, all of the sets were incredible. Like the palace of Ithaca is like so well done. They did such a good job capturing the Mycenaean palatial complex and how they were. But yeah, that's funny. All right, we'll call this the next turn sprite atlas. Now that I've mocked them up, I will do them separately, I guess. Just to make life less terrible. All right, so now we need the go back one, which I guess we might as well just do properly from the beginning. 120. Why is this 36? Does this need to be 36? Should I go back down to 34? Why are all of these 36? I feel like I made a mistake. I feel like I might have made a slight mistake here. You know, it's okay. It's okay. I actually think visually this is balanced. I don't want to shrink it. I think if I shrank it any further, it would be a bit style. Oh, maybe I have room here, actually. 7, 6, 6, 6. Because this has to be 36, but these are subordinates, so maybe they should be smaller. It's probably good that they're the same. This one would be even bigger then. How big is this? Appreciate people hanging out. I know I'm like just yapping and like barely getting anything done today. I'm just so tired. This is 28. Interesting. Did Tom Holland do a good job? Gonna be weird to see Spider-Man. I mean, yeah, Tom Holland and Zendaya are both in it, so yeah, it's basically like a alternative universe Spider-Man, right? He's doing everything. He's in like 3 movies or something right now, right? He does so much. You're making progress. You think you're doing pretty good. I appreciate that. You always bring the hype. Still needs work. Appreciate you. Hope you've been doing well. I see you streaming sometimes. I don't tune in very much, but you're having some good streams. It's gotten to the point where I've made so many friends on Twitch. I have a hard time being able to see all of the people I'm following when they're live. Kind of an interesting problem to have. All right, smaller buttons. You know, I kind of like them being the same. I think I could make them smaller. No, we're just gonna do this. If it feels weird, we'll make them. We'll shrink the buttons later. One of your gifts is encouragement. You were very good with that. You were very encouraging. Arneo, you're not a big fan of Tom. Zendaya is absolutely fire and everything. She stole the show in Dune 2. What they have done... Okay, so spoilers for Dune instead. Because I also watched one of the trailers for Dune 3. I haven't seen them all, but I watched one of them. What they have done to Shani's character is so smart. They have very much empowered her character, and she provides a really great counterfactual, like... She adds a really good counterpoint to Paul, which that's not really how she's written, or I don't know about, well, it's been a long time since I've read it, but that's really not how they portray her in most adaptations, and I think it's a very big strength of the current adaptation. I think she's great. She's also really great in this film. She's really great in the Odyssey. It was really smart to have her be the representative of like Olympus, of like be the one who represented that, because it's very the movie's very grounded, but yeah, she does a great job representing the mystical, the mythical, the mythological aspect. Very good job. They make a lot of jokes. Yeah, Tom Holland does a great job. I like Tom. So, I don't know how critical I am, but Tom Holland had a really interesting comment that he made about the Odyssey and his role in the Odyssey, which he was like, this movie is my last chance to portray a boy, and he means like not a man but a boy, right? And it's a smart awareness on his part that it is true. It is true. Telemachus is a boy. And in terms of where Tom is in his acting career, it is true. I mean, he still has Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is a man. As boyish as they make him, Spider-Man's a man. But yeah, he is right. Telemachus is his last, will probably be his last role as a boy. Telemachus very much is so. And they kind of play that up in this. They actually kind of downplay that a little bit, maybe, in the written Odyssey. But for me to get more into that, I'd have to get into spoilers, and I don't want to do that, so I won't talk about that. Chani was always important for book 2, so you're glad they did the work to set up her character in the first 2 movies. Yeah, that's maybe where my knowledge of Dune falls away. I've read the first book of Dune, and I've seen a lot of adaptations, but I haven't read much of the later work. Like, I certainly haven't read Children of Dune, so I don't understand quite where the story goes. But yeah, they do a good job so far with her. Very good job. Man, yeah, I feel like the Odyssey was so good. As soon as it's available for rent, I'm gonna watch it again. Is this aligned? I don't think this is actually aligned. I'll double check. I don't think it is, but maybe it is. Yeah, the casting in the Odyssey was fire. Everyone did such a good job. Even people with like relatively small roles. Like, I think one of my favorite portrayals was Eurylochus, who is like a very minor character. He's just like one of Odysseus' soldiers, but it was like he was played so well. I'm not familiar with the actor that played him, but it was so good. Crazy how good. And then yeah, I already sang the praises of John Leguizamo. Even Robert Pattinson like kills it, but that's because he's really good at playing a kind of sniveling kind of character, a kind of villainous character that you kind of disdain, but you still have to kind of take seriously, just because of his ruthlessness. He really nailed the role of Antinous, which I think that's who he played. I don't quite remember. The suitors are all interchangeable pretty much in terms of their names and stuff, but he did a good job. Since we're just yapping, I have an acting hot take, which is that Robert Pattinson is the current generation's Nicolas Cage. He's the bar. That's my like community joke. That's my community joke that Abed's very hot take about Nicolas Cage, which is that he is the bar. That Nicolas Cage is not a good actor. He's not a bad actor. He's just literally the bar. He's true neutral. He's like that metal sphere that is a kilogram. And I feel like Robert Pattinson is that for the modern age. I feel like he's the bar. That's my hot take about Robert Pattinson. And that's as someone who likes him. Who likes him all right. You know what I didn't love? I didn't love the voice he chose to do in Mickey 17. I think he almost single-handedly ruined that film for me. So there are caveats. I think whoever said he could do that voice in that film should have been fired. Did you see Holland's remark that he was excited to see Pattinson was cast because he's good at portraying a dick? Yeah, that's a much more blunt version of what I was saying, but yeah. He's a good villain. He's definitely a good villain. He's kind of sniveling and he's kind of sinister. But he's still charismatic enough and serious enough that you don't dismiss him. He's not like buffoonish or anything. Again, except in Mickey 17. Why? No. I gotta stop. I gotta stop talking about Mickey 17. I really like that film. Well, I don't know if I really like that film, but I think I could have really liked that film. It's like how the Blade Runner theatrical cut with the narration. And it's like Blade Runner gets much better when you take the narration out. I think the same thing happened in Mickey 17. But he didn't need to do that voice. That was not necessary. The voice is there to make you feel sorry for him. You should already feel sorry for him. I think they turned it up too much, but everyone turned it up too much. It's like Mark Ruffalo's character in Mickey 17 is one of the most like buffoonish roles he's ever done. I get what he was trying to do. He was like trying to do an almost like Trumpian kind of character. But yeah, everyone turned it up to 11 in that movie, and I think they could have dialed it back a little bit, and it would have been a very serious film. Nice, Nanigans. Chris, you see it? Although you think Pattinson takes jobs because he wants to, while Cage takes jobs because he's in debt. I don't know about that. Nicolas Cage has been in the game a long time, and when you're in the game for that long, you gotta keep playing. You can't. You gotta keep generating that. And Cage has good roles. He's good. Again, he's the bar. I can't actually say that I can say he's been good in roles, but he's the bar. And I think Pattinson is also the bar. That's my opinion. All right. Can I just take these mostly? Yeah, I'll just do it again. Sure. They're different sizes, and I just don't want to even. I don't even care. We're just having a good time. I don't need to be efficient. So actually, the worst part is if I get this done too quickly, I have to come up with something else to do. I don't want that. I know we've kind of been underachieving in terms of the amount of stuff we've been doing per day, but just the burnout has been pretty real lately. And I need to dial it back at work, like at my day job, so I can recover some energy, so I can continue a very aggressive timeline with this game. I also need to do some other stuff. Like I need to start exercising. I need to find more energy. I don't have enough energy in me in the day. It's becoming a problem. I'm eating better. I'm getting a little more sleep. So I'm putting the pieces together. It's just taking a while. Also, hey, Chris Knife. As soon as we started talking about Dune, you know, Chris Knife's in the chat. All right, take it easy, Nanigans. I've heard good things about how seriously Cage takes his roles and tries to embody their character. Yeah, I think he, you know, I've liked him and stuff. I have. I mean, you know that Abed's opinion of Nick Cage is basically just Dan Harmon's opinion of Nick Cage, and I just think I agree with it. I think it's obviously a little tongue-in-cheek and a little reductive, but I also think it's true. And then I extend it to Robert Pattinson. But he's good. He surprised me, actually, with his portrayal of the suitor, even. I kind of knew what he was going for, but he did a good job. He added something to it. He added more dimensions to it than I thought was going to be there. Because yeah, as we kind of opened up with, the impossible task of trying to make like a film about a Homeric epic is just making the characters relatable, right? And that's like, that was his justification for why they speak in like American accents and stuff, right? Like, they could have gone full Russell Crowe and been like, everyone's doing a Greek accent. But like, that wouldn't have helped, I don't think, personally. And I think those characters are still very alien in some ways that is hard to overcome, but they did a really good job still. I can't get into more about that without spoilers, so I'm gonna not, maybe I'll talk about it more if I have time enough to like get my thoughts on paper or something. But yeah, I really liked it. I was predisposed to liking it again, so, you know. I do have some problems. with some of the... I think they went a little too heavy-handed with trying to recontextualize some of the motivations for the characters to make it more believable. Because again, that was the challenge, right? And I think they, in some places, did take it too far. I think in some places they missed some of the point. But I think it was probably the correct move for a general audience. I don't think you could have done it otherwise. Like, you would have had to explain too much about the ancient Greek honor system and their bartering system, and how geopolitical entities like the palatial complexes worked, and like how the larger groups, like and how they're like how they all saw themselves as a people, which they really didn't yet. That was like a very retrospective aspect of it. But there were some interesting choices that I still partly disagree with, but I thought they were really interesting. It's like Watchmen spoilers up here for both the movie and the book, but it's like a lot of people had very strong opinions about the change made to the finale, to like the final piece of Watchmen, to like the big grand finale, like Adrian's plan. And I thought it was actually kind of maybe stronger than the book, but it misunderstands part of what Alan Moore wanted to say. And it's like, you could argue that what Alan Moore wanted to say doesn't really land and doesn't really work. That it didn't really work for the original audience, let alone a modern audience. Obviously, the timescales we're talking about here are totally different. But like, he was trying to do something, and the filmmakers were like, I don't think what you're trying to do is going to work, so I'm going to change a fundamental aspect of the story. And it's like, the filmmaker might have been right, but I think it did misunderstand part of it. And obviously, in the case we're talking about of Homer, the creator is so many thousands of years behind us. And there's arguably no single creator of either of those stories, the Odyssey or the Iliad. So it's like, I think it's much harder to understand or to reconcile those things when you're talking about those timescales. When it's hard enough to reconcile, you know, what Alan Moore wanted to do with what Snyder wanted to do. And how you feel about whether they succeeded or not. Yeah, community is old. Kind of surprising. What is this called? This is called the Go Back Sprite Atlas. I should probably say button. Go Back Button Sprite Atlas. It's been a fun stream, though. I've been equal parts tired and talkative. And that's like the most dangerous place for a streamer to be, because that's when you say some shit that haunts you for the rest of your life. But we've been good. This has been good. I'm glad nobody has come in here and like rage baited me. Like before about the Odyssey. It's very easy to do. It's why we're not on Twitter. If anyone does it right now, it might be an insta ban. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't insta ban anybody. I might time someone out. I need to be a little bit more aggressive about timing people out when the chat is getting a little rowdy. I take a very conservative approach. I probably need to be a little more aggressive about moderating sometimes, especially when it's busy. Right now, it's not busy, obviously. Extern button sprite, intern button sprite. Intern. Oh, this is just called the intern sprite atlas. You know, I don't really call them button, do I? Damn it. I'm being inconsistent about my naming conventions, and you know it's okay. It's okay. Change my mind about that stuff later. All right, so we need the don't ask again button. I think that's the last one we gotta do here. Did I finish this one? Yes. Can you just step up your game, Rhiannon? What, in terms of like rage baiting me? Oh, Arneo. Not even as a joke. Is this even the right size? I don't take this one seriously here. I think this is maybe wrong. Five over here. 5 over here. 8 there. There isn't going to be any shading, so this needs to move at least one. This font is small enough that there's not going to be any of the like orange stuff. The orange shading. So this is 5. This is 6. 7. Okay, I think we could make this a little bigger here. Hey, Kima. You can't stop. You're upset that I counted 2 numbers and then just stopped counting. It's very funny. How's it going, Kima? Happy Friday. Thank Godot it's Friday. I'm so tired. Actually, I think this is right. I think we're in a good shape here. I think this is the right size. We're gonna just ship this. 28 by 28. 28 and 28 is what? 56? 112? Okay. 28 by 112. Oh, is this, did I measure this correctly? I think I did. I probably did. Yeah, that's good. How do you usually do SFX? Usually, I like Foley art, which is just a fancy way of saying I like making weird sounds with household objects and or my voice, and then like distorting them in like Audacity. That's how we did the sound effects for A Following Wind, which is the only time I've actually had to make sound effects from scratch, really. I think what you would do is you would use like what is it, like BFXR or SFXR? Which the... Actually, I don't know what the difference is. Oh, BFXR is an elaboration of SFXR. Yeah, I would use one of those. What I'll do for this project is I will probably purchase things on the itch.io asset store, because that's kind of the vibe of this game. Is that it's not? I'm not saying the vibe is asset swapping. I'm saying the kit bashing is like is the approach we're taking with this game. I'm not really doing stuff from scratch. I'm not trying to do stuff from scratch here. I don't got time for that. Let's do this one. This one actually does need an icon layer. Drip. I don't know what most of those words mean. Oh, you're anemic. Oh. Yeah, it's that's tough. That can affect a lot of things. That can give you can get that can really make you lethargic. Yeah, that's rough. I know some people who have had issues from that, either directly or like as a result of something else, right? That's rough. Make sure you're, taking care of yourself. Hemoth, you think you'll use free SFX from Freesound and Zapsplat for your jam game? Oh yeah, for a jam game, use what you can. Use whatever you can. Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with digital audio, which is partly why I like doing Foley art and or like just recording things analog. It's kind of something I'm more comfortable with. This is good, so I can delete this. Delete almost all of these. Yeah, it's that definitely can explain a lot. That's the sort of thing I just can't compromise on anymore. Is like sleep and taking care of prioritizing my health. I've gotten to the age where if I fuck around, I find out very quickly. Kind of crazy. I have to work really hard to maintain a very strict sleep schedule nowadays. Are you sure? That's funny. save this as something else. We're gonna say, are you sure, Sprite? Get rid of the layers we don't need. Now that we've split it up, export that. We'll call this the don't ask again here. Save. Don't. I feel like putting an apostrophe in the name is a bad idea. Don't ask again. I might call it opt out or something like that. Opt out Sprite Atlas. Yeah, I need to do that. I need to go get my annual checkup and get some blood tests and stuff, because there can be stuff wrong with you and you only tangentially are aware of it. So it's definitely good to get checked. It's definitely good to just get regularly checked. Yeah, it's very easy to misattribute issues. It's amazing how much is going in your body that you're not aware of, going on in your body that you're not aware of. Because, I mean, most of our processes are autonomic, right? The vast majority of processes in your body are autonomic, yeah. Unless you're a yogi, you don't have control over a lot of it. That's interesting, Rhiannon. Yeah, I'm a very understimulated person. I don't think it's ever risen to the degree where I've been tempted to get diagnosed or anything, but my partner's always brings it up sometimes. She's a very overstimulated person. Like, she's very easily overstimulated, but I'm like wildly understimulated as a person, which I know is a classic characteristic of the modern individual here, the modern man. And if I'm anything, it's the very model of a modern major general. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. A happy Friday. We're probably gonna wrap it up relatively soon, but I want to get these buttons. I want to get these buttons in here. Kind of crazy that I spent a few hours. I mean, honestly, I spent a few hours yapping about the Odyssey is what I did today, but culinary mushrooms are good. I need to go buy some for tomorrow, or buy some tomorrow. I'm gonna make some mac and cheese soon. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough, TripAdvisor, but hopefully it's better. All right, dog grooming. That sounds fun. Take me with you. I met the most beautiful, sweet, angelic dog on the bus yesterday on the way to the movie theater. She was such a sweetheart. Her name was Loka, and all she wanted to do was just be pet by everyone around her at all times. Very sweet. The whole bus, the whole back of the bus was so happy. It was like this bus full of a bunch of grumbling strangers, and then Loka got on the bus, and everyone was just so happy. Kind of a magical moment. Oh, what am I going to do about this? We're going to do like a check. We're going to do like a checkbox or something, yeah. I haven't thought this through very well. I just did the outer line thing, but we actually need to kind of do something else. I need to do something with this checkbox. Cream and mushroom sauce sounds good. What are we going to do here? We could do this. I don't like that. What about like a checkbox or something? Yeah, I don't like this. But I think this is okay. I actually kind of want to not do the outer mask. Well, it's consistent, isn't it? Yeah, this is okay, I guess. Should have put that on the icon layer, but it's fine. Okay, well, I'm happy with that. I think this will be all right. I need to put them together and get them up on the screen, get them to actually interact, but that's an easy low energy thing I can do later. We are going to get serious. We are going to be setting up all of the actions and the equipment cards to be capable of actions, which involves coming up with tags for all the actions, redoing the card resources so that they have their actions all like elucidated, and we are going to rebuild the progression so that you actually, when I'm testing, I'm actually going through the game the way a player would, and then we can set up things like the turn order, and there's a lot to do in the next like month before this first playtesting session. I should be back tomorrow. I have like an 80% confidence that there will be a stream tomorrow. There might be something that comes up I'm still trying to figure out, but I'm pretty sure I will be here tomorrow. So hopefully I see some of you there. By there, I mean here, but tomorrow. What's there isn't there. It's just here with a T. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Hey, Jotson. Thanks, you too. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Maximum warp.